What is going on, guys? This is Miasin. So today I wanted to make a ban list prediction slash wishlist video, but in a different way from what I usually do. So this is going to be a tier list, and the wishlist section, by the way, is not going to be just my personal beliefs, but also other people, because there are some cards in here that I don't really give a shit, but I don't know, maybe they will get banned or unbanned. We can always hope. But before this video starts, you already know the drill. Friendly reminder to smash the like and subscribe button. And also huge shoutouts to my sponsors, Inspire TCG, as well as Dueling Guards. So check both of them out in the description box below. They will always be there. Fantastic guys. And now let's get right into it. Alright, so first things first is a Purrely Sleepy Memory. So in the OCG it's already at 1, but they also have 2 delicious memories. And over here in the TCG, we have 1 delicious, but everything else is at full power. Now, this card is weird because it could either go to 2 or to 1. There's no way I think it dodges the ban list, but this, I could easily imagine this card being in any one of these categories. It's not going to change that much because, honestly, Purrely is going to be getting naturally power crept over time. Even when the Goblin Rider cards are going to come out, they're going to be detaching the level 1. And then Purrely Noir will no longer become a quick effect, which is very rough. So I want to say Purrely over time is just going to be getting so much worse that it's not even going to be that worth playing. So I think maybe Semi-Limit is going to be enough to hurt the deck enough, because now if you go my friend reveal, there is a 67% chance of getting the Sleepy and not 100%. Because now the card is a 3, so if you're revealing 3 Sleepy, you're always getting Sleepy. But yeah, 2 or 1 doesn't change too much in my life. I think at 1, it fixes the issue. I want the card to go to 1, but I think we might have the exact opposite as in the OCG, where they have, again, 1 delicious, and then, no, sorry, I'm stupid, 1 sleepy, 2 delicious, so we might have 1 delicious, 2 sleepy. Okay, so for Guido and Kelbeck, I mean, they're identical, and there's no way in hell these cards can dodge the ban list. I mean, they're making Tearlaments like extremely good for no reason. These cards are also very frustrating. I mean, I play Tearlaments myself, so I can tell. Like, I'm not biased at all. Like, I don't like these cards, and also as one-ofs, they're also even more frustrating. Like, wow, congratulations, must be nice. You're milling, you're one of a Guido. Oh, you're milling a Kelbeck, and you're Solic and everything that triggers. Yeah, no, this game is better off without a mill 10 package. The cool thing about banning these cards is that this might unban some other cards in the Tearlaments deck that might be a little better. Or maybe not unban, but bump some names up to 2, which could actually make sense. So if, like, Merly, Sharon, and Havnis go to 2 because of these cards, could be actually cool. You let me know in the comments if you think that's a good deal. So just banning these 2 cards and then giving each of the Tearlaments monsters that fuse 1 extra copy. We never know. Or maybe 1 Kid Kalos in exchange. Nah, that might be a little too much because Kid Kalos is insane. Anyways, Tidal and Redox, I mean, they're also in the same boat. These ones I really don't care. Like, I don't think they're necessarily gonna get unbanned. Because there is nothing that they're, like, there's no new product that they're pushing. Like, the new product to push is Maze of Millennia with Transaction Rollback and Bonfire, as well as Phantom Nightmare and Terminal World. Phantom Nightmare, of course, is just all about the fire decks and some other decks that I will be covering very soon. But these cards are just, like, no. Like, Blaster at 3 makes more sense than these cards. And also, Blaster was the most recent Dragon Ruler to get unbanned. So, if anything, I could actually see, like, Blaster going to 2 or 3. But these, maybe not. Just because, like, Konami likes to take all their time to unban cards. They don't want to do, like, everything in one shot. Even though these cards are completely irrelevant. Like, every single Dragon Ruler could come back to 3 and wouldn't change anything whatsoever. Alright, Beatrice. Now, this card is very interesting. I'm going to put it in this section right here, the maybe banned. I don't think it's necessarily going to get banned, even though I do believe that Beatrice is 1,000,000,000% a ban-worthy card. There's just so many ways to get level 6s on the board now. There's Garura. So obviously, in the Tearlaments deck, there's that. There's a Malicious. There is a Destiny Hero Dangerous that can dump the Malicious, and then you can go into Beatrice that way. Even the Unchained deck can technically go into Beatrice. A lot of random decks can go into that. There's something very annoying about Beatrice that I kind of want to talk about, but not right now. This card should not really exist. So this game is better off without this card overall. I mean, Curious is banned, and this card is maybe a little harder to summon because you do need specifically level 6 monsters. Curious is just like 3 monsters with the same attribute with different types. So it's really easy to summon in, like, danger decks, but Beatrice, I don't know. It just does too much if you can actually summon it. It's a double Foolish Burial. I mean, it's a double Evolvable Chain as quick effect, so can't go wrong there. And again, Beatrice is going to be getting exponentially better very, very soon. That's a reason why it might, like, dodge the ban list, because it might push some new product. Or maybe it's going to get banned because it abuses new product. But again, I feel like it's kind of obvious at this point. It's a very specific card from Maze of Millennia that is played in other decks as well. Maybe not in Tearlaments, but again, if Beatrice dodges it, then it might actually see some play. Very dangerous card, so I think it's gonna get banned, but I mean, I want it to get banned, but I don't think it's gonna get banned. Sorry, that's what I meant. Alright, Magispector Unicorn Kirin. This card is 100% getting unbanned. It shouldn't surprise anyone why Kirin would get unbanned, because Magispector is getting new support in Phantom Nightmare, and nobody is going to care if the deck isn't at least getting one unbanned card back. I mean, if Kirin, sorry, if they're not getting at least one Kirin back, obviously Electrum is like too much to ask, and that's why I was like, wait, hold on a second, yeah, can't unban both at the same time. Electrum is like the card that actually ruins the game, because it allows Pendulum to become like way too good. By default, right, it's always a combo deck. It's not a mid-range or a control deck. Like, you're never gonna see any Pendulum decks with a bunch of hand traps, kind of grind back and forth. They're very explosive and they're always like very solitaire. They just explode on turn 1 by making infinite negates, unbreakable boards, and Electrum allows you to just do that more often, more consistently, and also adds resilience, because now you can play around Joel and Nibiru. Whereas Kirin, on the other hand, doesn't really fix any real issues. It just makes the Magispector deck a little better, but not even going second. And the deck can play without Kirin anyways, but it's just gonna see less appeal. So Kirin is really just here to make people a little happier, but it's not gonna break anything. Honestly, I've really looked into it. I'm not really, like, arguing with my feelings, because I couldn't care less. I'm not a Magispector player, but, like, honestly, this card wouldn't really change anything to the game if it were to come back to 1 or even 3, honestly. But like I said, Electrum is a completely different story. Alright, the Runick cards now. These ones are very interesting. There is a world in which either Runick Tip or Runick Fountain gets limited. Now, it's really important to not skip at the very end of the video, or watch my video on mute and be like, oh wow, you've got 2 Runick cards in the limited section. You're a little too rough on them, no? No, of course not. But I can already assume that in the comment section, I'm gonna see a lot of stupid comments. No, I believe that one of these 2 cards is gonna get limited, not both. So it's either going to be a Runick Tip or Fountain, either one. But the Runick engine will definitely have to suffer some form of hit. I don't necessarily care which one it is, but there is a very specific reason why the Runick engine just can't keep on existing anymore. At least not at the full power that it has right now, because Fountain to 2 is full power. Even if the card was a 3, people would still be playing 2. So yeah, the engine literally never got nerfed in any way. But yeah, a lot of decks can play the Runick engine next format, and it really does limit card design in a way, because now everything has to be overpowered. Every new engine always has to be better than Runick, because otherwise this engine will always see play. And it's always going to devalue new product. Like the Horus engine, for example. Like the Runick engine is so good that it almost makes the Horus engine just not look good enough. And the Horus engine is also getting more support in Phantom Nightmare, even though it's not like super ideal. Alright, now next up is Lubellion. This is especially because of Dragon Link, but overall it's just a really good card. I hate it with a passion. I despise Lubellion. It searches Magnamode, which is at 1. If you have like 1 Magnamode and 3 Lubellion, kind of defeats the purpose of only having one Magnamode. So yeah, maybe Lubellion will get limited, but it could also be the other Bestials at 1. In the OCG, that's exactly what they have. I think they have 3 Saronir, 3 Lubellion, and 1 Baldrake, 1 Juizworm, 1 Magnamode. So it is going to be one of the 2, either that or the other Bestials. Now, Kashtira Fenrir, I think everybody and their mother can agree on the fact that Fenrir is 100% getting limited. Sorry, Jesus. Search Fenrir is the problem. It's not the actual banishing effect, because sure, that's good, but Pankratops also kind of does that. Even though Pankratops is a going second only card, Fenrir is going first and second. Yeah, it's too convenient. It's just too generic. It's not even a Kashtira card at this point. There are more decks playing Kashtira Fenrir than Kashtira themselves at this point. Like, it's just getting ridiculous. And this card dodged enough ban list. I think we're getting to the point where it becomes like very reasonable that limiting Fenrir is, you know, it's a thing now. So it's not just something that might happen, it's something that will happen. That's how I see it. Now, next up is Sharvara. At first, I actually thought that DDD Caesar, the rank 6, would be more appropriate. And the more I think about it, the more I realize that Sharvara to 1 actually is just way more logical. And the reason for that is because if there's only one Sharvara, you're not just hurting the consistency of the deck, you're hurting the power as well. Because with only one Sharvara, they can't really do the play where they make a Caesar, and then they also have a Sharvara in the hand, so that they can play around the talents or Change of Heart and stuff like that. So it becomes pretty rough. And also, if you are triggering the effect, it creates weird combos where sometimes you might have to miss out on one of the two, like either setting a trap with Sharvara or making the Caesar, doing weird things. Because you would have to like link it off and then destroy it and then revive it back, and like it's just really weird. I mean, not destroy it, but like link it off and then revive it back with like Unchained Soul of Disaster. So yeah, limiting the card will not kill the Unchained deck whatsoever, but it definitely will make it just a little less good. But semi-limiting the card wouldn't change anything because you need 2 copies in order to do the basic combo. 1 copy definitely does force you to play differently, and I'm all for that actually. I think it's refreshing thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, the ban list should not only add new strategies, but also remove some older strategies and force players to adapt in a different way. Alright, Orchis Harp War, this is definitely in the maybe unbanned section. I mean, again, it's just like Magispectre, Unicorn, Kirin. It is not getting like any new support in any way, so yeah, there's like really no argument for us to like unban this card, honestly. Anti-Spell, yeah, this is also a very easy one. I mean, I despise the card. I think everybody and their mother hates the card, but like this card has existed in the OCG and in the TCG as a 3-of forever, with Konami basically showing like no intention to hit this card. So that's my issue. It's like, we all hate Anti-Spell with a passion. It shouldn't exist. It's unfair. It's unreasonable, and it shuts down a mechanic, but will it get banned? Probably not, because they're never hitting cards like that. There's just so many other cards that should get banned too, like Dimensional Barrier is a big example. Anything that lingers as well, I hate it. So Anti-Spell is just like a really big one. It's very comparable to Imperial Order, so I can't believe like Imperial Order is banned, no questions asked, but this one for some reason is a 3. Makes 0 sense. At least limit the damn card, at least, because it's a continuous trap, so it's not really searchable. Whatever, as long as it like at least goes to 1, I'll be fine. Isolde, on the other hand, is kind of like an in-between. Like, is it 100% banned or maybe banned? Maybe it's gonna be the Phoenix Blade. If Phoenix Blade gets banned, there's a new equip spell in Maze of Millennia that pretty much does, like, almost the same thing, but it's once per turn for the recursion, so it's obviously less good. But it's not gonna be that relevant because Isolde is, like, the real card you're really trying to hit because it inflicts collateral damage on other decks. Like, the Mechanical deck, for example, abuses Isolde, but not the Phoenix Blade. So Isolde is like the real hit here. Like, this card is so degenerate that it's more of like a warrior toolboxy card than like an actual Noble Knight / Infernoble Knight card. And even without Isolde, I feel like the Infernoble deck is still respectable. It's just like less annoying. And that deck is like super cancer anyways. It shouldn't exist. It doesn't interact with you at all. Like, it makes like actual unbreakable boards with so many negates that you can't even count. Emergency, huh? Yeah, I mean, that and Airlifter, it's like, it's gonna be one of the two that's gonna be semi-limited. It's not gonna change jack shit. Maybe both are gonna be getting semi-limited, but nobody cares. Again, Konami has to push fire support, so yeah, like the Rescuers deck is not gonna get murdered. And I think it's actually very fine and okay for Konami to let Rescuers exist so that they can be the natural enemy of Fire King. Both decks are like on a very similar level, at least with the Phantom Nightmare support. Because right now, Rescuers is still much better than Fire King. It's not even close. But yeah, no, this deck, if we hit it just a little bit, Fire King is going to be getting pushed even more. And the Structure deck is going to see, you know, quite a lot of resurgence, actually. But I mean, maybe not because it's new, but you get the point, right? People who actually played Rescuers, if the deck gets hit, I mean, they still have their wanted engines, so they can migrate Fire King any day of the week, and it's fine for them. King Calamity, screw that card. It's complete BS. It's the only unfair thing that Centurion can do. Anything else that the deck can do, I really couldn't care less, but King Calamity to almost skip your opponent's turn, no thank you. It's unfair. Engage, this card will get unbanned. Maybe not in this ban list, though, so it might actually go here. Because the deck is getting new the Sky Striker deck is getting more support, but in the kind of late future, because it's always like V-Jump promos and like weird sets that are not core sets, so yeah, I don't even know when we'll be getting the 3rd Engage, but it should be relatively soon, because again, we do have some more Link monsters coming up in a few months. I was gonna say in a few years, but maybe not, maybe not. Alrighty, so now we have Pot of Prosperity. This card will 100% get limited. It's also another one of those cards where everybody kind of just agrees with each other. They don't like this card at all. It offers mid-range decks consistency that is so... it's too much to the point where they can play like billions of hand traps, just some one-card combos. They can also dig into Floodgates. It's not fun. Digging for 6 is too much. Like, this card has a better effect than Duality and a more lenient drawback. And also, banishing 6 cards from your extra deck that you choose is just so good. Like, this card has to get limited so that Extravagance can also see a little more play. But yeah, I think limiting the card at least is the very least we can do so that it can be a thrust target. But if it was up to me, I would ban this card. I would 100% ban this card. I want the card to get banned, but realistically, it's gonna get limited. So yeah, but it could get banned. We never know. It is a ban-worthy card. In terms of power level, it's ridiculous. Now, Shifter is another card that I want banned. It's probably not gonna happen. Realistically, though, it might actually go to 2 or to 1. Like, I don't think it's gonna stay at 3 forever, because it's another very unhealthy card. Maybe they can use the argument of, oh, it puts graveyard decks in check. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe not in the most fair way. You might as well just fix card design instead of creating a card that says no. And it also allows, like, garbage players to win. I hate this card. Like, it's... man, I freaking hate Flunderies as well. And for some reason, like, the Flunderies deck, they get to abuse Shifter, Featherstorm, and then the rest of their deck is garbage. Like, absolute dog shit. It's like a tier 10 deck that plays 2 of the most overpowered cards in the entire game. And finally, we've got Big Welcome Labyrinth, which is, like, it's a big question mark card. Like, is this card even gonna get a hit? Maybe just something microscopic like Big Welcome to 2. To 1 might be a little too much, even though it's not, because they can still use Transaction Rollback to copy the effect of Big Welcome. So it's not going to change jack shit. But if the card goes to 2, maybe it's going to force players to actually get their hands on Transaction Rollback so that they can always use the effect of Big Welcome more often. So if anything, it's going to push sales. So that might actually make sense. But yeah, no, that's it for this banlist prediction / wish list. You guys let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.